This message is intended as a reminder that we are not licensed professionals, not psychiatrists or psychologists. If you have a serious problem, please seek professional help. The National Suicide Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Hearing all these letters read aloud by damsels not in distress. Host came to impress. Bitch, check your DMs. This is hot off the press.
Hello, Chloe.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
So successful lately. How does
I've been successful lately.
Yeah.
I did find out that a pilot I wrote was, the quarterfinalist round of a screenplay competition.
The number one.
Yeah, which we talk about a lot, that we don't like to rely on external validation for things because it's a little bit fleeting. But I will say it was somewhat validating because I feel like it's something I've always wanted to do, but writing it was the first time I had written anything like that. I was, Googling how to format it, Googling how many pages it should be, all this stuff. And it's kind of like shooting in the dark a little bit because it's not something I ever learned in school, or, I was kind of talking to my friend about how this kind of path isn't really encouraged as much, I think our parents, I love my parents, but they were just very hardworking. My mom was a nurse, my dad was a mechanic. This kind of stuff was never not that it wasn't on the table for me. I think if I, had really realized it younger, they would have encouraged it. But you're kind of just sent on this traditional path in life. So whenever you do something creative and you get a little bit of validation from it, it's nice.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have an older brother who also wrote a screenplay for a short film that was accepted into a lot of festivals. So there's something in our genes that is calling us to do this.
Yeah, you've been having some weeks, I feel like, where you were feeling stagnant a little bit in your career. So I feel like when you get something like this, it's really nice because it shows you that you're following the path for you.
It's nice. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, I mean, it is external validation, but it is kind of in a better way than it would be if I was trying to get it off of a man I was dating, I would say,
Pick your battles.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. The seasons are changing here. It is currently raining. And I feel like with the seasons changing, I probably just am developing a seasonal cold or something. But starting to feel not stuffy, but a little scratchy maybe. But I did get tested for COVID on Tuesday, just because I, have been doing that occasionally. But I was negative, so I need to get over it. But I'm maybe my symptoms haven't developed all the way. Maybe I need to go get a rapid today. So I feel just living in this age of Corona is difficult because it's you still can get all the same seasonal illnesses that you could get before Corona, but now you also get to be concerned that you could have COVID.
Speaking of seasons and signs and moons, we're so excited about our guest today.
Yes. So you're a Gemini. And do you feel like you identify heavily with Gemini?
I do. Yeah. I think I've heard that they kind of get a bad rap of just getting along with everyone and not really having their own personality. And I don't know. I do think I get along with a lot of people, and I think I'm kind of a social butterfly, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to be anyone else, I feel like I like my personality. But what about your Cancer energy?
Yeah, I have always identified so heavily with Cancer, just being sensitive. And I mean, we've talked about it before, I like to give advice. I like to be there for people and be sort of nurturing, and people come to me for that often. So I've always identified really heavily with it. And yeah, I like it. I think that's what I put out, and maybe it's not, but I like it.
Well, I think he can give us a lot more details on our signs. I know that the sun sign isn't the end all be all, so I'll be curious to hear what he has to say. So on that note, let's go talk to Hollow.
So we are here today with Hollow, who is an astrologist and spiritual guru. So thank you so much for coming on today.
I'm glad to be here.
And I found you on TikTok, where you're doing amazing, sweetie. When did you start your TikTok journey?
Honestly, like everybody, when I first started on TikTok, I was learning like the stupid dances and like the cringe videos and things like that. About a year ago in September, but I didn't really start like, making tarot videos and things like that and putting my spiritual notes on there until I'd say about like April or May this year. And that's when like I really started getting noticed and getting picked up. Yeah.
And had you been doing all of that stuff before you were on TikTok?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. My friends were always the ones that they'd come to like have them me read their astrological charts and like numerology and like for years. And then came like me doing tarot card readings for them and stuff like that. And I realized was like one day I just kind of clicked. I was like, why don't I just like do this online? Like I could do this for people. And then that really started to pick up and grab a lot of attention. And then talking about spiritual topics like astral projection, lucid dreaming, sleep paralysis, those kinds of things. That's what really kind of like gained a lot more traction. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say I've seen Insidious, which doesn't paint that stuff in like a great light. So I don't know. How did you initially
There's a
get into that?
Hollywood. I mean, there are some once you really begin to, especially for people who are psychics and mediums and can channel those types of energy. There are like the dark sides of that. Yeah, you are going to deal with lower dimensional beings, low vibrational things that really don't have your best interest in mind. But for the most part, when it comes to astral projection, that's more so of a spiritual tool that you kind of get through after like learning how to meditate and accomplish like other phases of consciousness. But it's pretty cool.
What made you get interested in learning about it in the beginning?
What first sparked my interest was, well, I don't know. To be honest, I've always like since a kid, like science has just been something that's naturally came easy to me. I've never failed science. It's just naturally like effortlessly been something that I'm good at. And I don't know. I would say that first, like when I would really like first started like liking it was whenever in school back in like 8th or 9th grade when we learned about astronomy and the solar system. I really like got like really into it. I remember talking to my teacher afterwards and she was like, we're all like kind of after like a certain star in the sky and you can see your constellation of who you are. And she introduced me into astrology and I was just like, ever since then it was like opening up Pandora's box and I just like found the key to everything. And I don't know, I just really loved it.
I love stories about how teachers inspire you to like follow different paths because I feel like teachers are so influential in our like paths and deciding where you want to go. Like I had a drama teacher who was super involved in and I remember she would like stay late and make sure I was working on my college auditions and stuff. So I feel like it's so nice when people give credit to their teachers. But
Yeah.
I want to know what you have to say to people who think that all astrology stuff is BS.
I just want to say, it's not, the stars and planets are real and energy is real. Energy can't be created or destroyed and everything vibrates and, radiates and projects energy. Planets and the stars do the exact same thing. And wherever those planets and stars are placed and wherever Earth is placed means that we're going to pick up on those frequencies and we're going to pick up on those energies and vibrations and it is going to affect us. Knowing what those planets are and what those vibrations and energies are can bring a lot of clarity to a lot of aspects and situations and questions that people have in their life, which I really do feel like could be helpful. I know that some people just think it's mumbo jumbo, but it's not just, I'm a Virgo at the end of the day, or I'm a Capricorn or a Leo or anything like that, Gemini. There's a lot more that comes like deep with it. There's so many different types of astrology. You have tropical, sidereal, Vedic, Western, Eastern, that really are based on so many different things. So even if you just don't believe in, I'm a Virgo and I'm going to have a good day today, or my boyfriend's going to break up with me, like those kinds of things, like there really is like realistic like meaning and science behind it that really does back it up. If you really look more into it.
And before I ask the basic white girl question of what's your sign, I kind of want to go into it a little bit because I've heard some different things, and I heard that your sun sign actually isn't your full personality. It's a little bit more of like your rising signs and your moon signs. So could you give like kind of a brief overview, just kind of the astrology scene, maybe some things that you see people getting wrong whenever they're talking about their signs?
Yeah, so one thing too that a lot of people really kind of just, well, I'll kind of just like go through like a little walkthrough instead of just
Yeah.
like, so I really feel like that would bring a lot more clarity, because I feel like some people kind of confuse the meanings between, your sun, your moon, your rising. So to kind of just walk like through it, I would first off say that your sun sign is probably the most useless sign in general. I mean, it's the one that everybody knows, and it's the one that everybody gets excited about, but it
Mhm.
really is like the most useless sign. It really just dictates, your ego, your characteristics, your solid foundations, basically who you are as an individual, and like the traditions that you're upbringing, what makes you you at the end of the day. Your moon sign is what the moon, or actually, yeah, the moon rules over your emotions, your feelings, how you process those things, how you communicate with other people as well. So your moon sign is basically how you adapt to those things, and how you take on those feelings and emotions in that sign. And then also then you have your rising sign. So your rising sign is basically, people say this is the mask, but I like to say that this is like the energy you like to give off to the universe. So this is how you come across to people. And this is also the sign that predicts what energy is coming into your life. So how you're going to be affected by the universe and by the energies around you, surrounding you. So whenever you're looking at your horoscope and you're looking at, you know, what's coming into my life, and you're looking at, maps and stuff like that, you would really want to look for your rising sign most, because that's what's going to be accurate into what's actually going to happen in your life. I mean, you're looking at your horoscope to see your future. You don't want to see, like I said, your sun sign, what's happening to you on the inside. People actually want to know, what's coming into my life, what's happening, what's in my future. So that's what you want to read in your rising sign. If you want to know why you're feeling off, or how you're going to be feeling in the future, I would say then read your moon sign. But yeah, your sun sign's really probably the most useless. It just shows up like your characteristics, like what your personality type is, basically.
But that's useful, right?
That's useful in choosing friends. Yeah, I'd say that. But I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to wanting to know things about like what's coming into you, then yeah, it's not going to do much.
Do you have a favorite website that people can use to figure out their moon and rising, or how do you think is the best way for people who just know their sun sign?
I really don't even trust most of the apps anymore. But I mean, there are a few good ones. I know Nebula's a good app. That one will honestly break down, or personally walk you through your own personal chart. All you need to know is your birth date, the time you were born, and the city you were born, and that's all. And it'll break down your life path number, which is in numerology, which is beautiful. I love that it walks people through numerology. And it also walks you through your own personal chart. So it walks you through the houses, the different placements, the planets, what they mean. It lets you know your polarities. So it lets you know if you have feminine energy or masculine energy, or if it's mutable, things like that.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but not a co-star fan. I didn't hear that.
I did used to use CoStar. I don't have anything against it. It's just personally, I just don't like, if you go to any astrologist, they'll probably like kind of tell you like this kind of sucks, like having to read their charts. Is it doesn't show you, all the entire wheel or all 12 houses. It only focuses on where your signs are and what houses they are, and it groups them together in kind of clusters, and doesn't really show you, like the entire grid of what degrees they are and things like that. And that's really important when reading your chart. I mean, it's good for people who are like absolute beginners that really just want to like dip their toe in the pond. I would recommend CoStar. But if you're someone that's like really trying to get, invested and like really want to learn about astrology and maybe numerology, because it really does go hand in hand, I would definitely say probably use Nebula.
And I was going to say, can you walk us through numerology a little bit for beginners?
Of course. So, in numerology, a lot of people like to ask me, like, "Oh, what are the angel numbers that I'm getting?" Or I've been seeing 444 or 1111, or I keep seeing my birthday, and what does that mean? Well, numerology is very impactful. Numbers play a big role when it comes to, I mean, creation. When it comes to religion, God, I could really go on about, especially like the number three and 3, 6, and 9 and the significance of it. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard the quote by Nikola Tesla, but he said, once you figure out the key between 3, 6, and 9, then you have the key to the universe. Those three numbers are so powerful, so significant. They also hold the numbers in between the golden ratio. But in numerology, how it affects us, also going in alignment with astrology, is that we all have 5 core numbers that makes us up as a whole. It's basically kind of our genetic blueprint of what we're sent here to do and what's our destiny here on Earth and why we've incarnated here on the physical plane. And you have your life path number, and your life path number basically signifies what your life path is, what you're sent here to do, why you're here, what's your experience in this lifetime. It goes through 1 through 9, or it can go through 11, 22, or 33, which are the only master numbers. I've had people tell me that they're a life path 44, and I'm just like, no, you're life path 8. You have to keep reducing down to either 1 through 9 or 11, 22, or 33. And lots of those can mean lots of different things. For example, if you're a life path 3, these people are gifted with the spiritual gift of creation. So being able to be artists, writers, dancers, singers, actors, performers, entertainers. People who have a life path 6, they are meant to unleash unconditional love. So these people are therapists, veterinarians, doctors, things like that. People who are life path 8 were meant to incarnate into this lifetime and experience the luxuries in the life, experience the nice and finer things, being rich, experiencing abundance, the nice, like the finer things in life, to be honest. And then you have people who are 11, 22, and 33, which are star seeds, people who are indigo child, crystal children. You have Andromedan star seeds, Pleiadians, people like that who are sent here on a mission to really help change humanity for the better and the more positive, and into a more better, easier place to live, and making just life, the world, a more better place. I could really go on and on and on about life paths. And then you have your birth date number, which shows like, you know, your talents of hidden talents and gifts that you've incarnated from past lives and while you've been reincarnating. So gifts that you've had, you know, from past lives and things like that. Then you have your destiny number, expression number, and your personality number. There's a whole lot. It's really deep. I mean, it's a really long time to really go through it all, but those are basically like your 5 core numbers, and your 5 core numbers will let you know like what you've been sent here to do. Those readings take quite a long time. I do them as well in like my own services of my own like business and stuff, but it's really interesting, and it really helps people really understand astrology a lot more. It really does go hand in hand.
I didn't know all that, so I feel like I'm learning so much.
And how would you figure out your numerology?
I would honestly say going to a psychic, going to someone that's been studying that. I've been studying numerology for a long time, since I was a teenager. But like, if you really think like astrology will tell you about yourself, like numerology will drag you. Like it will really tell you like some dark things, like why you are depressed, why you're obsessed with people, why you have like the cravings that you do to do certain things. It really will open your eyes if you're like really going through a spiritual awakening.
So I feel like I've always been afraid of seeing a psychic because I'm afraid to like know my future, you know? But it sounds like there's more you can do from seeing a psychic than just that bit.
Yeah, there's so much more. Honestly, people think when they come to me that I'm gonna be like channeling spirits and then like telling them like you're gonna die on the 27th of October. Like, no, that's not what's gonna happen. I literally do like so many different, like me, for example, I do astrology chart readings, numerology readings, twin flame soulmate readings. I do channel, I do mediumship as well, past life, career, general future, things like that. I do palm readings as well. People just want to sit down and ask questions. I also do that. It's so much more than, you know, just communicating with the dead. It's honestly so much more than that. And not only that, a lot of people too end up finding or learning a lot more about themselves, or learning more about, you know, just wanting to dip the toe. They end up like loving it, and I end up opening a door for them. And I really just kind of like that. I think that's the more like beautiful like part about it.
Yeah. If someone's setting up an appointment with you for the first time, is there something that you kind of like encourage them to do, or just, and I know you do tarot cards too, right?
Yeah, I do tarot, oracle, cartomancy, all of those. I like to incorporate those in all of my readings to help me really just like make the most accurate predictions as well. As long as like, as well as I'm channeling and using my psychic abilities, I also do like to use my intuition as well. And using those cards really do help me find a lot more clarity, and also what's going on with that individual and what's going on in their environment, things like that.
But
Totally.
I do want to know what your sign is.
My signs. I'm a Virgo sun, I'm an Aquarius moon, and a Sagittarius rising. Very complex, very complex. Three signs that are very opposite from each other.
Yeah.
I feel like you resonate with one the most.
I would honestly say I resonate with them at certain times. I'd like to say that, like, I mean, my Sagittarius side is a part of me that's like fun, outgoing, like social. It makes me like a socialite, a social butterfly, connects with people. The Aquarius side of me is like the more like nerdy side of me that likes to party and like hang out with friends and like, you know, do like a lot of fun stuff, but also like be there and be healing. And then the Virgo side of me is just like the part of me that keeps the glue together, that like keeps getting work done, that like grinds and things like that. So when like I'm not being responsible, that's the responsible side of me.
Yeah.
But you said
Well,
Virgo, that would be the one that's like your personality, right? Like the term
Yeah.
you're friends with and stuff.
So I'm very like, I would say like I'm a very down to earth, genuine person. Very easygoing. Very grounded. Like I don't know. I don't really cause issues with anyone. I never fight with anyone. I never cause issues. I've never like had problems with anyone.
okay, so I know I'm a Gemini double Pisces. Gemini is my sun, and then double
Wow,
Pisces.
you're extra psychic.
Really?
People who have double signs, that means that you guys have you guys carry on some kind of spiritual gift or ability, which can range from any of the clairs to being a telepath, to any of the psychos, having psychometry, or being psychoaudient, or clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant, telecommunicative, or having the ability to be or give telepathic imprints as well. You guys there's so many different ranges as well when it comes to people who are double signs. But Geminis are also one of my favorite signs as well. Most of my best friends or like closest relationships have been with Geminis.
That's so funny. I feel like, okay, it's interesting because I've dated Pisces men before and I have not gotten along with them, which is interesting to me that I'm also like a double Pisces. I don't know if you have any insight into that, why I don't get along with like actual Pisces men.
Well, Pisces men are very, very, very how do I put this?
Terrible.
Passive aggressive.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. They're very passive aggressive. People, there's like this thing you're saying that Pisces are very weak, they're very soft, like they're wuss, like they don't stand up for themselves. But it's kind of true because they're very passive aggressive. They like to just show their anger out in like different ways as well. Geminis, you guys are ruled over the planet of Mercury, which is all about your intellect, communication. Communication is very key. When Pisces are angry, they don't like to communicate. They like to to just act out of their actions. They like to just like let you figure it out, which can be very annoying, especially for someone who's a moon Pisces and a rising Pisces. So you take that energy. You're very receptive, and very. You are rising Pisces are also very magnetic and charming as well, but they're very communicative as well. You guys are moon children and you operate off the moon, and so that really hurts your emotions. You guys don't like when your emotions are played with or toyed with. If someone's not being blunt or straightforward, you don't like to play mind games. You guys like to kind of get straight to the point and let it be known, like, this is how I feel. Why aren't you talking to me? Like, let's work it out. Like, let's do something. I would really kind of like to know his rising sign or moon sign. I feel like that would also bring a lot more clarity, but just stemming off of them being a Pisces as well, just kind of going off the roots of them, they don't really kind of like to communicate. They kind of like to bottle things in and internalize a lot, kind of just hermit away their feelings and suffer in silence. So that could be another reason of why you guys would mix. I would really say for Gemini, your perfect match would probably be either a Libra or a Virgo, someone that shares the same Mercury with you.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Libra and Virgo. Okay, I'm gonna put it on my dating app profile. If you're not a Libra or Virgo, don't talk to me. I know you were talking about that you do a little bit of like twin flames and soul flames. Can you take us down that a little bit and how you determine that and what the
Yeah,
differences
I
are?
get that asked a lot. So lots of people ask, like, if my in their current relationship, they're like, "Oh, so I think my husband or my boyfriend or my fiance, I think this is my twin flame, and he's the one, and like this is the other half of my soul." And I'm just like, okay, like the cards are saying something else, and I'm kind of picking up from like some ancestral energy from your angels that like this person kind of isn't. So to really kind of walk through the difference of twin flames and soulmates. I actually made a video on this the other day to kind of bring more clarity on it. But okay, so to touch on twin flames. So twin flames are, okay, so if you're a twin flame, I'm trying to just like start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So twin flames means that before you incarnated here on the earthly realm, your soul decided that it needed to split into the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And when you both incarnated here on earth, your entire life path and purpose is to find each other and to unite. Because if you don't, and you don't find each other, and you continue on into this lifetime and, you know, working on yourself and not finding your twin flame, your energy is just going to continue to break and break and break and dissolve until it finally like settles. Like I said, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just becomes residual at the end of the day. So the whole purpose of twin flames are to really unite and to really come together. So that way your soul unites and it comes together. And when you pass on in this lifetime, you begin to repair your soul and begin to move on as you keep going into reincarnation and moving on and on. Twin flame relationships can be very magnetic. They can be very powerful, very intense. Signs of you seeing or being with your twin flame is seeing repeated numbers, angel numbers, finishing each other's sentences, sharing dreams, dreaming about each other, having a telepathic relationship as well. These relationships are very psychic at the same time. You guys end up sharing the same spirit guides, the same guardian angels. To kind of deter from the difference, where this can get really confused is with soulmate relationships and karmic relationships, is more so where you and this individual were just meant to cross paths here in the physical plane. Your soul didn't have to split in between the divine feminine and masculine. But before moving on to soulmates, another thing with twin flames, whenever I do say splitting in between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, I'm talking about energies and polarities. When we talk about polarities, especially in astrology, polarities means how your energy comes across. So one energy, you know, is assertive, it's masculine. This means that it's assertive, aggressive, it's linear. If your energy is divine feminine, this means that it's magnetic, it's open, it's receptive, and it's also circular, meaning that, you know, it takes in, it's not linear. Also showing in life, to kind of be more literal and visual. And together that breaks in one soul. We all are one. Whenever you're in a soulmate relationship, your soul isn't like that. It didn't have to split. You're all in one unity. So whenever you cross paths with another individual that's also a whole soul, when you guys cross paths, you guys are crossing paths to really help build each other spiritually and to build each other consciously and through your evolution of your life paths. Most people who enter soulmate relationships or karmic relationships mean that you and this individual keep crossing paths. No matter how many times you reincarnate. So in all your past lives, you guys have probably gotten married, been boyfriend, girlfriend, had problematic engagements, helped each other, been best friends. You and this individual will continue to cross paths no matter how many times you reincarnate. That's all part of karmic relationships. But soulmate relationships means that in this lifetime, you are meant to run into this person, and this person's coming into your life, and you're coming into this person's life to teach them something that's going to help them evolve spiritually and help them into this next karmic cycle that's coming into their life, or this new chapter or this new life cycle that they're enjoying. Soulmate relationships also at the same time aren't like twin flames where you can't live with this person or you can't live without this person in a twin flame relationship. If you end up fighting with this individual, you're just like, when we go with our friends, we're just like, screw him, I hate him, like he's trash, like I'm never going back. Like you're gonna pick up on that same energy of like, he hates me, he's never coming back to me. Like you're gonna feel that same pain because you share that same soul with that person. You can't live with that individual. So we're in a soulmate relationship. If you break up with them, you're kind of fine. You can move on with them. You can move on. Your soul doesn't necessarily need them because your soul's complete without them. You don't necessarily need them at the end of the day. It was more so of a lesson for you two to kind of teach each other something. And when it reaches a climax, then you move on to that and you sever ties, or you don't sever ties. You either just keep the friendship for what it is, or things change over time. Growth is the one thing that really helps all three relationships, or is the goal with all three relationships, karmic, soulmate, or twin flame. The whole point of them is to grow, expand, and to really just grow our consciousness and grow our auric field and grow our energy.
Oh, that's so interesting. Because I feel like you always hear people being like, oh, that's my soulmate. And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't mean that's your forever person, though.
No, there's so much like a deeper meaning behind them. And also, getting into sex as well, sharing that between twin flame relationships and soulmate and karmic relationships, oh my God, really can help you figure out also what kind of relationship you're dealing with. It's a sacral energy exchange. So exchanging that energy and sacral energy with other people. Studying Buddhism and Hinduism and Kabbalah as well, and the Jewish, learning about those like really opened my eyes to all of that.
Guys, I figured it out.
Okay.
Okay, so Cancer is my sun, ascendant Libra, and moon is Leo. And it said to send you the chart. So I put the chart in the chat.
Okay, wow. So you're a rising Libra. So Libras, to give you a rundown of Libras in a nutshell, most celebrities are Libras. I don't want to say that. Libras are all about experiencing the nicer, finer things in life, being successful in all areas, emotionally, financially, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, really all in those areas. You guys also do love to find the balance in everything. So fairness is one rule that you strongly live by and that you guys really implement in your goals as well. With you also, well, no, just still touch on Libra, but that also being your rising sign, so that's the energy that you come across. Libras do tend to come across bitchy at times. They can come off very like snarky or very like just prissy, but that's just because you guys know what you want. Libras also is a masculine sign. It's a very assertive, linear energy. So whenever you're coming into a room or whenever you walk into a room, it's very aggressive. It's very I wouldn't say aggressive, but it's very noticeable. People notice your presence when you walk into a room. You also do, you did say you are a moon Leo and a Cancer.
Cancer, sun, moon, Leo. Yeah.
Yeah. So Leos carry this light about them. They have this bubbly energy. So emotionally, you guys bring about this happiness, this joy, this like lightful energy, this inner child kind of just bubbly vibe about you. Cancers are also moon children. They operate under the moon. They're very intuitive. They're very psychic as well. Following Pisces. So the reason that could be a big reason of why you guys kind of bond. Your solid foundations kind of bring you a strong intuition, so an active third eye chakra, and her being a double Pisces automatically represents she has an active throat chakra and the active third eye chakra as well. Cancers do also have active crown chakras too when they age into their early 20s, moving into their spiritual awakenings. You guys often are gifted with claircognizance and clairsentience. So psychic feelings, so feeling the entity or presence of other spirits or your guardian angels or your spirit guides whenever they're around you, or ancestors that might have passed. And also psychic knowing. Psychic knowing is claircognizant. So not knowing when things are going to happen, but you might have very vivid prophetic dreams. You guys often experience deja vu a lot more frequently than other people do. These people may have visions of the future or visions of things that are about to happen. For example, I also do have this psychic ability. So for me, this would maybe play out as like waking up one morning and not doing my routine, or just like, I might switch something up. So I'm just kind of just feels weird. I might not go that way to work today. And me not going that way to work today, there was a 5-car pileup and an accident and a truck happening. But like me going a different way and watching the news was like, wow, like actually, like I just kind of knew something was off. I knew something was going to happen. That's a sign of claircognizance. Lots of cancers carry that ability. Cancers, Pisces, Scorpio, most water signs are very psychic. You guys operate under the moon. The moon influences the water here. It influences our tides. It influences the nights as well. So you guys are also moon children, night children.
That was actually very accurate, and I liked that a lot. Okay, now we're finding out my boyfriend. He is a Capricorn sun, a Taurus ascendant, and a Sagittarius moon.
Okay, wow. So you said he's a Capricorn sun.
Yes.
The Capricorns, like I was just saying, they're very hardworking individual. That's a very masculine energy. When it comes to his 3 placements, when it comes to personality, Capricorn, what was his moon? Sagittarius?
Let me go back. He is a Sagittarius moon and a Taurus ascendant.
Wow, yeah, all masculine energy. So he's very masculine, very assertive. His energy is very dominant. People who have very masculine energies typically have a red aura or carry a red aura energy. I'm willing to bet he might have a red aura. A way for you to check is when you go home, stand him up against a red wall and just look for a tangent of a line around his skin. And it should give off color. Yeah, it should give off a color, and it should be very faint. It can radiate from blue, pink, violet, white, gold, red, green, yellow. It radiates stems off the chakras. So if you pull up a picture of the chakras and then you just look at him against the wall, you'll begin to see one of those colors. I promise you. If you go on my page, I have like lots of different
color
videos.
wall, or it has to be a specific color?
It has to be a white wall.
White.
Other colors could tamper with like what it looks like, things like that. But yeah, but he has a lot of masculine energy, representing his 3 signs like that, which represents that he's a very bold individual as well. These people typically want to leave legacies, they want to work for themselves, or they're very hardworking individuals and very headstrong. With him being a Capricorn as well, Capricorns are very I don't want to say sensitive, but they're very emotional, but they don't like to really kind of communicate that as well. They, along like Pisces, like kind of like to suffer in silence. They kind of don't communicate things as easily as well. But they usually also come from a very good place. They're very family oriented, home oriented. They're very big on tradition and home life as well. They kind of do want things their way. They also are very stubborn. Moving on to him being what was his rising? Did you say it was Libra?
Rising, I think, was Taurus. Yeah, right.
Taurus. So Taurus is another earth sign. So Taurus people are also very stubborn, but they also are very Taurus is feminine energy, but at the same time, they kind of do have that assertiveness about them. They are very beautiful individual. Taurus men are trouble. I always say this. Whenever you find a Taurus man or has any Taurus placement, they have something about them that might carry a lot of dark features. Whenever I tell people that they've come into contact with a Taurus man, a lot of Taurus men cause a lot of trouble. These guys don't like to grow from childhood experiences or really grow from trauma. They like to kind of block things in the past and not really heal from them. Another thing with people who are rising Taurus as well, or Taurus men to be specific, um, when it comes to opening them up, you typically have to open them up out of arguments as well. When it comes to communicating, they're very kind of hard to open, but they typically always want to do things and come from a good place. They have a good heart at the same time. But when it comes to opening them up, you aren't going to have that necessarily time, but they're really good at wanting to open up for people and be empaths and heal others and be there for other people and be very nurturing. They have that nurturing energy about them as well. But when it comes to kind of getting them to open up, I would say good luck. Generally good luck. Like it's kind of like that meme where it's like the can, we're opening the lid, but there's another lid under that lid. That's kind of like a Taurus rising.
Always speaks in memes, so I'm sure she loves that.
I do love that.
And then being a moon Sagittarius are very optimistic people. So they're always willing to see the glass half full, and no matter how dark of times or dark situations can be presented to them or in front with them. I'm kind of the same way. Well, I'm a rising Sag. And any people that have Sag placements are very optimistic. They can always see a new door in front of them. They can always just look at the bigger picture and know that luck is on their side. And that's one life talent and a gift that they have, is being very lucky. Moon Sages are very lucky. They often work through problems and their emotions very rationally and very practically. They like to get the full piece of the puzzle before they make rash decisions. But they also are fire signs, so that is also 50-50. So they are also very rash, or they're either rational. So it's either going to be split, like, oh, I hate you, like, leave, or, okay, let's kind of just work this out and, like, talk about it and find some clarity. You're going to get one or the other when it comes to some moon Sages, kind of like Aquarius is.
That's really funny because I know we wanted to talk to you about like which signs work well together, like who should avoid each other. And it does sound like there's a lot more going on that you'd have to understand than just like that on a basic level. But I think it's funny the way you said, like, I don't know, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, maybe because like I have Cancer energy interacting with him. If we were to have an argument, we argue super logically, because I think if he were to like, really freak out, I would just cry. We've been dating for like 5 years, so it's been a while, like lots of different conversations and everything, but everything you described with him being super hardworking and everything else is super accurate.
I really, yeah, because I can even like attest to that myself. Like that really does make sense, because I'm a Virgo, and I'm a Cancer Scorpio magnet. Those are the only people I attract in romantic relationships.
Scorpios are my people.
That's your sister sign. They're a fellow water sign. And whenever I would get into arguments with those signs, it would always be the most like communicative, like we hit every single point issue, like very logical, like arguments, to where like if it was like with a fire sign or with an air sign, or like if I was arguing with a Gemini or a Sagittarius, it would be like, screw you, there's the door, like I don't even want to talk to you, like just leave, like I'm better on without your energy. But if it's one of those signs, it's like, I want to work this out with you, but you're pissing me off, and this is why. Yeah. Like, and we just like kind of go through that. Those signs are earth and water signs are very mutable. Earth and water energy is very mutable. It kind of just reminds me of a beach. It kind of just mellows out each time. Those relationships are very good, very long lasting. Air signs typically work with air signs, and fire signs typically work with fire signs. To be just kind of like, not cliche, but that's just how it really works at the same time. I mean, some fire signs and air signs do get together if they do have other things being mutable, you know, in their chart, coming with their moon or rising sign being with having earth energy or water placements as well. That's when most of those relationships tend to work out. But if you're someone that's like a double Gemini or like a double Cancer, triple Scorpio, like you're probably end up dating another water sign or an earth sign.
Well, our letter writer today is a Taurus, which I know we were talking about a little bit. Brian has a little bit of that in them. And they're having an issue with a Gemini, which I take offense to. So the letter says, "Dear damsels, I'm a Taurus through and through. I'm extremely patient and try to approach almost every situation in a practical manner. In the past, I've always had trouble when it comes to relating to and especially dating Geminis. Although it is fun at first, I find their spontaneity unnerving and their approach to life a bit chaotic. It even mentions in several articles that I've read that we are an extremely toxic match for each other. However, I've recently been seeing someone who is Gemini, and the twist is we've really been getting along. There have been a few times I felt a little unstable with some of their actions, but we seem to be able to communicate through them and come to a solution that is reasonable for both of us when any issue arises. It's been a few months, but I'm worried that something is going to blow up in the future because it just always seems to with Geminis. Rude. Should I throw in the towel now or see where this one heads? Sincerely, are we astrologically compatible?" Well, we only know their sun signs, so do you think that that's like we need more
I
information?
mean,
Or
I could still work with that. I could still work
okay.
with that.
Well, what do we think? I don't know that I've ever dated a Taurus as a Gemini.
I've never dated a Taurus before, or I mean, I've like went on a couple dates with them, talked to some, you know, like had like little flings with them, but never anything that was long lasting. Never dated or tried to date a Gemini man. It's like dating two people at once. Oh my god, they really live up to the sign of like duality and like the twin energy. Which is like also beautiful at the same time. But I don't know, for her, I would say that the reason why you've probably read so much that from news sources and articles and things like that, that you guys aren't a perfect match is because Taurus, you guys really love to find practicality, balance, stability. You guys are very home oriented. You love structure and routine. Geminis are a very mutable air sign. They're all about having fun, kind of to go hand in hand with the Sagittarius. That is all about new adventures, new ideas, new things, experiencing new things. Geminis are kind of the same way. They get bored very easy. They don't like to be bound. They don't like to be, you know, on a routine. They don't like to do the typical everyday thing. And most Geminis that I know have like two very polar opposite personalities. So the reason why like maybe she could be really bonding with one is because maybe one side of the personality she's just really getting to love, and the other side is just kind of like a really kind of just like refresher. It's really refreshing. And not only that, not all Geminis are the same. You either come across the ones that are either crazy and just like love spontaneous things, or you come across the ones that are very just like creative and, you know, introverted, and they love to just create things and hermit away, and their energy is just very complex, but mentally and consciously, and they're very just like they give off like a very like sapiosexual energy. So they're not trying to, it's not that they're like sexually attracted to you or physically attracted to you. It's more like an intellectual thing. They want to get into your head, like that type of vibe. Geminis are very complex people. That's why they're one of my favorite signs. They get like shit on the most and hated on, but honestly, they're very cool individuals. Like they're so complex. They're so amazing. I really feel like there could be a lot she learns from it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Chloe, you do have two sides where like one side you're very businessy and like you get stuff done and you care about your success, and then the other side you're super fun and like just warm and like ready to have a good time. It's like witty and funny.
You know, one of the most Gemini things that I've ever said, actually, I said last night because I'm working on this screenplay, and my friend was like, "Oh, like, what's your screenplay about?" I was like, "Oh, it's about like two like female lead characters. They're both loosely based on me." I was like, "Oh my god, that's such a Gemini thing to say." Oh my gosh. But no, I think it kind of begs the question of like, it's just kind of the larger question of if you're kind of doing some research on your signs and this person that you're starting to see and you're kind of finding that it doesn't match up. I mean, like, should you throw in the towel early? Should you, have you ever seen kind of two incompatible signs be able to get over that and have a good relationship?
Yeah, my parents were Leo and a Scorpio, which are two polar opposites, water and fire, which never mix. Literally, it even physically in science doesn't mix. One puts each other out over the other, and I mean they're still together. Some relationships, there's like I said too, those are just your sun sign. Your Venus is also the planet of how you love, and where that's placed in, what house that's placed in. The houses rule over where your priorities are in that planet and in that sign. And if you guys have the same placements in that, you guys could really have a solid foundation when it comes to love and see eye to eye when it comes to traditions and monogamy and things like that, no matter based off of what your sign is. Yeah, your personalities are different, but your traditions and your beliefs and things like that, you believe those. Or you guys might share the same spiritual beliefs if you guys have the same Uranus or Neptune or Pluto. You guys might have the same outlook on life or the same approach or perspective on how you view the world. Those things really have like a big play, especially when it comes out to how relationships are gonna play out in the future. But at the end of the day, too, I wouldn't let any of those things like dictate anybody's decision. As long as like when I do tarot readings as well, when people are like, "Oh, I'm scared of what's coming into my future." Another thing too, I like to tell everybody is that you are the creator of your future and of your reality. Manifesting is so real. The law of attraction is real. You create like what you want in this world, and what I'm basically just telling you is what energies are coming your way and how to necessarily deal with it and how to approach it. And kind of just give you a heads up so you're not just blindsided and just like, why did this bad thing just go into my life? And this is happening to me. But really, the universe kind of does things for it to happen for us.
That was beautiful.
I know.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Hollow. You were absolutely incredible.
Before you go, tell people where they can find you and where they can book you for any readings or anything that they want to do.
My website will be up soon. But as for right now, you can find me on my socials, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, all that good stuff. Hollow_Hollis.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much. We'll let you go. We know you have to, but this has been great.
I thank you guys so much for having me.
Such a fun conversation.
Well, I feel like I learned so much.
I
Well, if you guys want to hear more about astrology or tarot cards or anything, write us your letters so we can figure out the best guests to answer these types of things for you.
Because we are always willing to take suggestions for whoever you guys want on, or if there's topics that you want more of.
Exactly. So until next time.
Going down in the DMs.
Bye.